Welcome to the Past Present Feature Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Valerian Projectors, featuring the Valerian Vision Master Pro 2, a filmmaker and film lover's dream. This outstanding 4K HDR tri-laser projector boasts 3000 ISO lumens, Rec 2020 color, and an impressive 15,000 to 1 contrast ratio. That gives you those deep, rich blacks in every frame. That's what I as a filmmaker care about the most. With IMAX and Dolby Vision compatibility, Google OS, Active 3D, Filmmaker mode, the list of impressive specs is endless. It delivers an exceptional cinematic experience when viewing the films of our podcast guests. Head over to Valerian.com to get yours today. That's VALERION.com. Today's episode explores the journey of filmmaker Vibeke Løkkeberg, who spent 52 years creating her film The Long Road to the Director's Chair, which just premiered at the Berlin Film Festival. Past cinema discussed includes Italian Neorealism and Andrei Tarkovsky. Vibeke's film highlights the struggles and achievements of women in the film industry, delving into the ongoing fight for equality in filmmaking, the challenges faced by female directors, and the impact of commercialism on artistic expression. The discussion also touches on personal resilience, the importance of authenticity in storytelling, and the lessons learned throughout a lifetime of filmmaking. Total time capsule. And I think the coolest thing about it, for me at least, is that it's over the course of 52 years in the making? Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Half a century? Like, wow. So that's like a fresh kind of take. I've not, talked to anyone that's spent that much time making a film before. As far as your filmmaking career and who you are and all those things, you are a Norwegian filmmaker. You're one of Norway's most prolific filmmakers, authors, and cultural icons, known for groundbreaking and often controversial films, such as the story of Camilla and HUD. The director brings her uncompromising vision and storytelling prowess to this project. And so this film, which is entitled The Long Road to the Director's Chair, and you filmed it, 1973? Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
And basically, long story short, because I read at the end, you give this kind of breakdown at the end of the film, kind of displaying the path of the film from when you first shot it. You tried to raise funds at that time once you were done filming, and then you couldn't find funding, right? So it got shelved, and then the footage got lost.
Nobody
is that correct?
would buy it. I mean, TV didn't want to buy it, of course not, because it was criticizing the media.
Yeah. Let me read the long synopsis here. Created from remarkable footage captured in November 1973 during the first International Women's Film Seminar at Arsenal Cinema in Berlin, this film delivers an inspiring narrative of ambition, bravery, and the relentless pursuit of equality through in-depth interviews with pioneering female filmmakers from around the globe.
Yeah, they have all been directors, but I mean, they had difficulties, of course, during their life.
Well, it was funny because I saw, it's like so funny that one of them, I forget her name, Angela maybe? I forget her name, but she directed The Never-Ending Story. Is that correct? The part 2?
That's right, yes.
I grew up with that movie. Yeah. I didn't expect to see that. It was such a random, cool thing to see. What a great movie.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, it was so special. It was like, what? So it's not just filmmakers that were trying to make films. They were making films. They had a lot to say, and so this is a film of the journey through time, a celebration of female courage and creativity, and a reminder that the fight for equality in the arts must never be forgotten. So you couldn't find financing for this film at the time in the early 70s. That's how behind it still was then, right? I mean, you think about the 70s, depending on who you are, of course, and you think, oh, that wasn't so long ago. But there were things that needed to be worked on, I guess, right? I mean, it took you 50 years to get this movie made or completed and premiering at Berlin next week, I believe, or 2 weeks from now. Wow. I mean, I guess the question is, what changed from then to now?
That's the big point, you see. So, because people in the profession, they say, well, what did change? Some percentage, we have been better, but not very much. So that's why I think many people in the profession is very interested in this movie, because that is a shock.
Yeah.
you can say, well, we are making movies sometimes, but the boys, the guys, they will have much bigger budgets, and they have other subjects like Second World War, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do understand what I mean, ironic. And then we are trying to make movies with have something to do with human rights, which is telling something about our woman life, and which is hidden for the society. But it's not like they don't. The guys don't really need it. And what is the point with this movie is that the system behind the making of movie is not made for women; it's made for guys.
Got you.
So the system has to change. Not only that we are some lucky women can come into the director's chair and make a movie, which is not, dangerous, not like a revelation or anything, but it's just a common movie. But I think it's difficult for women to come to that chair in media, in newspaper, in movies, because if you have this power to move people's heart and brain, then you become dangerous. And I think the system wants to have that control. It's much better to let the guys make the movies. They are making movies which is exciting and lots of killing, a lot of, explosion and all this kind. But I mean, we have seen it again and again and again in 50 years. So what is the plan really with us? So I think we have to do something, because this was made in a time in 1973 where we had very much of the same situation in the world, with wars in the Middle East, Cambodia, in Vietnam, and we had 68, and we had the French New Wave, and you had Godard, who was kind of exposing and kind of opposition to the American way of making movies.
The Hollywood just factory at the time.
And it happened something new, that new people could come to this chair of directors and make a movie and have a voice. Easier, cheaper movies, and also, So now I think we are in this situation, which is similar to the 1973.
Oh my goodness gracious. We got things to talk about. Yes. It seems so.
Yeah, so that's why you cannot just go on making the same movie as we did in the same way. We have to de-glamorize the movies and make simpler movies. In this way, you saw my movie.
Yeah.
Because it's more important to say something. It's not important anymore to show how the technique, very high level we have, or
the glossy, the glamour, the shine, just like junk food, really, versus having something that's like sustenance, right? It's like this something that makes you feel good as you're watching, after you're watching it, something you take in that can actually like be good for you, right? Like some nutrients versus just some mindless kind of, explosions, etc., action only. What does it really say? I mean, we talk about this all the time, me and my friends and people that come on this podcast, and it's like, there are some wonderful films out there, and I really appreciate the film festival circuit like that. I think that's like more important than ever these days. But you see, like, the Netflixes of the world, the American, the Hollywood ecosystem and what they pump out. I'm watching Emilia Perez the other night, and I get about 10 minutes in, and all of a sudden it pauses, and this ad comes up on the side for some sort of like I think it was so amazing. I should have taken a picture of it.
That's right.
It was the epitome of what we're talking about. It was like this ad for some sort of like beauty line, some sort of beauty, like body, like it's a picture of two half-naked women, basically. They were selling some sort of beauty product, and then it cuts back to Amelia Perez, and then we're back, and it's like, Netflix, what are you doing? And that's maybe one of the better versions of that situation. Anyways, it's frustrating because I think I don't know, I'm guessing here, but I think it may come down to art versus commerce, as always, right? Is that what it is? The line between art and commerce, like show versus business. You have people that the executives, for example, that run Hollywood that do have the keys to the car, and they don't know how to drive it. And it's like, what can we do? Well, I mean, I know what we can do about it. We can make the films that we want to make and not try to bend to somebody else's expectations or whatever. But also, it sucks because you want it to be seen. You want your films to be seen and heard and felt. And Hollywood does own the the pathway to a large distribution out into the world. What are your thoughts on like what could change or what could happen or what maybe is happening in the world when it comes to distribution, right? Exhibition of films beyond just festivals. Like what can we do or what is being done? Like movie, for
Yeah,
example. I think movie's doing a good job.
I think we should make our own distribution
Ooh,
system
love
for the
that.
first, and we have to make people understand that you don't see what is happening in the world in mainstream media
Hmm.
or in movies.
No.
That is what you see in the net, we all know that.
Hmm.
So it's like the world is part in two. And the other part, who is really good people, they don't get the stuff they need to feel good.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid of all these evil things coming out, which is not. I'm with my grandchild. He's 10 years old, and he wants me to see what he's looking at these games, on the movies.
Uh-huh.
And I see that what he's seeing is airplanes, nice airplanes, and robots, which is in the movie. And then this airplane is going to crash. That's the point.
Yeah.
So in a way, they are preparing children on catastrophe. And I think that is terrible. I try to tell them, but maybe someone are hurt when they're, crashing this. No, this is not real. Mom, it's not real. So, but anyway, why are they doing this? And that is with the movie has always been the brutal things are going into your brain, and you don't forget it. You will be part of it after, but you are not conscious of that. So with the movie I have made, I feel people remember it. Now, I showed the other day the film Camilla, which has also have been running in the States when it came out.
Uh-huh.
People who have seen it in '84, they came back now. It was full of audience there. They want to see it again.
I want to speak one more thing about just the state of the, I don't want to say industry. I don't want to use that word. The state of film, state of cinema. I'm mostly worried about how the culture won't get passed down to the next generations. As far as I had a dinner party Friday night, and I had a movie. I made everybody watch a movie afterwards, and we showed Swedish film Roy Andersson's the pigeon who sat on a branch reflecting on existence, and it was a recommendation from a past podcast interview. I wanted to challenge these American these people who aren't used to watching anything that's not literally spoon fed to them. And we watched it, and it was like a painting. It was a beautiful whatever. I enjoyed it so much, but half the crowd was just like, I don't know, that wasn't very good. And it's not because it wasn't very good. It was because they're just used to this like non-participatory way of watching a film. You know what I mean? They want it to be. They're used to just being given, as opposed to having to think and like take it home with you.
So you can see the film industry. That's tragic, because it is our most sensitive stuff inside who is getting destroyed. Because the industry is made like this. You should see a film and you're going out of the cinema and you want to see another one.
Yeah.
If you see a very good movie who impress you on your human side, you don't want to run into the cinema again and see a new movie. You want to kind of go around and taste and think of this movie. And that is bad for the industry, because they just want you to go in and out and in and out. But I think if women could make more movies, I hope that this could be changed. And that's why I think maybe that the system is keeping us away, because they know that we want to make movies with a heart and our brain, and to communicate with people and talk to them in another way. And that is tragic that so few women are coming with movies and is coming to the money to make them. So that is why we are fighting for. And we have a seminar also in Berlin now around this movie, where we talk about that. And I'm going to be interviewed from my daughter about how was it to make this movie, Mama? Could you tell about it? And, I can tell that for me, because I'm controversial, it's difficult to be controversial filmmaker and have children, because the society, they are kind of punishing you because you are showing them what they don't want to see.
Yeah, then they react from there.
Pardon?
As data from the celluloid ceiling study sponsored by San Diego State shows, the percentage of women working as directors, writers, editors, producers, and cinematographers on the 250 highest grossing U.S. movies is only rising slowly. Still, only 25% of those roles were filled by women in 2021. So yeah, so there's still, you're saying this isn't just a thing of the past. It's still a situation where
That's right.
women are not being allowed, being given, or being sought out, etc., to fill these roles. It's mainly men still. I think about a documentary that I love so much.
Yeah.
And it's called Camera Person.
That's right.
Have you seen this?
No.
It's by Kirsten Johnson, and it reminds me. She's from America, actually. She is a documentary cinematographer, and she took all of her favorite kind of clips from each project and put it into this large kind of montage. It's very observational, and made it into a feature documentary. It's called Camera Person, and it reminded me of what one of the women said in your film. The woman, it was the one that was the first woman to become the female cinematographer in some guild. Anyways, she was like, "What am I supposed to say? I'm not a cameraman, and they don't have a saying of camera woman. So what am I?" And I immediately thought of, you're a camera person, I guess. But I thought about that documentary, and this podcast is always trying to seek out past films that can relate to the current one that we're talking about. I love it so much.
Okay.
Yeah, you should check it out. Camera Person. Yeah. It's on Criterion, I believe. Can you tell me what past films most inspired you?
Well, I talked about the New Wave, and I talked about Italian Neorealism. That was really my school, in a way. Mm-hmm. And also Tarkovsky, in the end, interested me very much. Truffaut, Godard, Antonioni, Fellini. This is my basic school, and Bergman, of course. But can I give you a question? Are you coming to Berlin?
Well, you know what? I was thinking about it, actually, and I don't think I am. I was on the fence, just because it's just the timing of it and all that. But I will say I had been to the Berlin Film Festival. That energy infected me, so it's real. I think it's a beautiful place, a beautiful thing.
You think so? Yeah. It is interesting.
Yeah, so, and I mean, have you premiered at Berlin before? Berlinale?
Yeah, my first movie where I played the lead and I was writing scripts, and it was in Berlin in '66, I think.
Yeah. Gosh, I have so much to talk to you about, because you're also an actress. You've been in your films. You've been doing this for a while, and I just really so appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, because I know you have information that we all need. But I have a question. What is it like? I've acted in a movie that I've tried to direct before, and I was completely lost. Like, you've done this many times, where you're in it, and what is is there a big trick to maintaining, I don't know, not being in the weeds with it? How do you direct yourself? How do you direct and be in your own film? It's very difficult.
Interesting. Well, I saw Clint Eastwood do that, so why not?
Aha, there you go. If a man can do it, that's the truth.
Yeah, that's it. I don't find it difficult, because I feel kind of bored being just an actress in a movie, because I have to wait for the director and the sets and lighting and all this. So when I'm a director and actress, I can work all the time, which I
got you. And you can just immediately do what you need to do, right, as an actor.
Yeah, and I use my energy all the time. So that's
now,
fine.
Here's a question for you that's related to this conversation, to your latest movie. Would you prefer actor or actress? Actor, I guess, right? You just said actor.
What, to be called actor or actress? That's what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, well, to be an actor? Well, I'm old-fashioned. I don't think of it, really. But okay, same for me.
Same for me, okay. Yeah. I have another random question for you. I'm a big Terrence Stamp fan. How was he to work with?
I have been working with him. He was wonderful. Terrence Stamp was fantastic. He's a fantastic actor.
You know,
yeah, he was playing in Hood, yeah.
yeah.
So
He seems like a lovely, lovely man.
he's beautiful, and he was also, we were also in Cannes with that movie.
Oh,
So.
that's right. You premiered at Cannes. Yeah. Didn't you get?
It was funny because he was really up for a small, he just wanted to have a small part in my movie. He was visiting the set. And then I said, maybe you would like a bigger part. I can write you in to play another part, which is far more important, the main part, really.
I love that.
And because he liked so much the way we worked.
Yeah.
We were on an island in the west coast of Norway, and Patricia Hodge was also there. And then he said, I would love to work in this movie because this reminds me of the time where I was young and then when I was in Italy and made movies with the directors there. It's not so, like it is in England or in America. So he said yes to have that part.
How was he visiting on set? Were you guys friends? Did he know somebody else that was there? How was he there physically?
He is very disciplined. He's English, so he's disciplined. And he is discreet and distant. I like the English. And I think that was very important to kind of work with actors from Sweden, who has another culture, also distant, and Norwegian, which is very much like farmers in a way, and emotional, show their emotions all the time. And up to these distant actors who were kind of having another culture. They brought another culture in their acting. So that was fantastic.
And that's the beautiful thing about Europe. I feel like is so many wonderful cultures in this area, this space. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And it's, as an American, it's so strange to be able to go there and then to just hop on a train and 1 hour later you're in a different speaking country. It's crazy. And you're not used to it.
Yes, that's right. And also there are different characters,
Oh my God. Yes. So, different cinema styles. I mean, it's wonderful. Europe is my favorite. I love Europe so much.
You've been a lot to Europe.
I've been to Amsterdam, Paris, all the usual places, London, Berlin.
Yeah.
I've been to Belgium, Brussels.
Italy?
I've not been to Italy.
Have you been to Italy?
No, it's killing me.
Oh, you have to go.
I know. I know.
We had a farm there. Yeah.
Oh, really?
We had a farm in Tuscany.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh! Place. I want to go to Florence immediately. What do you suggest? Rome, Florence, Venice?
You have to come to Rome first. And Firenze, you have to go to all Tuscany, Firenze, and Rome, and Siena.
I'm just going to go. I just need to get on a plane and go. That's what I need to do. Just do it.
But the city, what I tell you, the culture, I met Monica Vitti. You know Monica Vitti?
Yes.
From Antonioni's film. We were in Cannes and we were sitting together, having dinner. And then I told her, we just bought a farm in Tuscany at the farmer on the countryside. And then she said, that's a good choice because that's where you find the old culture, Italian culture. In the city, it is destroyed. So
I
just
see.
Remember that. But anyway, the cities are always
I can relate to that,
city. So we had olive trees, a lot of them, and we could make olive oils. And
oh my goodness!
And I was writing books instead of making movies because I was banned for making movies in 10, 20 years here in Norway.
Really? You were banned, legitimately?
Yes,
wow.
I was really.
And can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can do.
Why banned? How did that happen? Who banned you? Like what?
Well, it's an interesting story because, as I told you, I went into a very controversial subject on my movies. And the last movie I made was this Hood, which we talked about. And that was about incest and rape of women. It was from 1890, the period movie. But it was then I was kind of judged as a man hater. And they didn't talk what the film was about. They just talked about it was long and expensive and it was boring and dark. Then they felt like I didn't deserve really to be. The state didn't, anymore like to give me money for this movie.
Right.
And then we had a big crisis, so I went to Yugoslavia and I made a movie in the war. And when I came home, everybody kind of laughed. It was the first war in Europe since the Second World War. So I felt obliged to go and meet people I knew who were directors and worked in movies, and to make a movie, a documentary, feature documentary of the conflict there. But when I came home, they was laughing. There was, me going there in jeans and, with my long hair, playing a part myself. And then it became very much worse. And then they told me that I couldn't work with my husband as a producer, which I did. I couldn't work with my children. I couldn't play in my movie. I couldn't write my own script. I had to find another production company. And all this just made a big mess because I lost the final cut. I lost the ability to make my script and to work naturally with my family. So then I understood we were kind of ruined. So that was difficult. So they say, you have to have a writer to write your script. And then instead, I wrote a novel myself. And that novel became a big success. So I continued by making novels, like 6 novels, during this year. But first, when the war broke out in Gaza, and I saw these children, what happened to them, I said, I have to go down there and make a movie. Then I started to make a movie after 20 years. That film is called Tears of Gaza.
Tears of Gaza. Okay.
You can read about it.
I have a question for you. What is inside of you? Obviously, it's something that's inside of you to keep going, to pivot, to take no for an answer. Not everybody's like that. Like you're like that, apparently. Where does that come from for you? And I'm kind of trying to tie this in with the same question of origins of a filmmaker for you. Like what made you and still makes you want to make films at any means necessary, even when people are saying you can't?
Oh, that's the best thing I can have. If people say you cannot, then I really go for it. I mean, to go uphill is the best thing I can do. No, well, it comes from being born just in the war, the end of the war. So you see that we had an unlucky situation where my commune was bombed by the Allied, not the German. And that was a big problem because that was something we could just speak about inside the apartments. We couldn't talk about it outside because then we were deemed like we were, on the wrong side. But all these women who was mothers who lived in that street, they lost their children and they were not allowed to speak about it. And I mean, always, the school are bombed, and almost 70 people, kids were bombed. Almost my brother too, my grandfather, my aunt and her baby, and my uncles. So, I mean, we had that destiny. And I understood very quick that the society, in a way, was part in two. It was... you had to follow the line to be accepted. If you're not following the line, you are having a risky life. So I was very much attracted to the last one, to have a situation who I could try out society and art and see the borderlines for art. I became, in a way, political, but also very much artistic in my movies, because I wanted to reach the heart and mind, and not only the intellectual or the, So I'm working on all sides to kind of impress people with my message.
Oh, I love it. So people are products of their environment, and then you come into it, and it's like you know what you know at that point. I mean,
yeah, you do. I have another language than younger people in the film industry, and I used it.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
you used it.
You
Yeah,
see,
and you kept on going.
I
You didn't
did that.
stop when somebody
Yeah,
tried to
because
tell you to stop too. That's the other big thing that sticks out to me. You know what I mean? Like it's so much
well,
easier to say,
yeah.
okay, I did this, I'm okay now. It's not going to work, right? People throw their hands up, but
Mm.
you didn't throw your hands up. You just pivoted or you just continued on, which is a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah,
And I,
you know,
you know,
yeah. I mean, painters, they're painting till they're dying. Why shouldn't
yeah.
I make movies until I die? I mean, I don't see the reason for why not. If I'm not having dementia or someone will tell me, you have to stop now because you are dementia.
Oh, I love it. I think about
uh,
this all the time. I don't know why. Maybe I'm too existential for my own good, but just about, I'm so happy that I'm a filmmaker too, because we can do this until the day we die, right? I mean, it's like, some people's professions, they cannot. That's not the situation. I feel very
no,
fortunate
but
when it
can you
comes to
tell
that.
me about your thing? Can you
My
tell me about the
my
movie?
films.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I was making fiction films for a minute and came up with the American films that we lightly touched on, these American films and I was trying to make my own genre films with micro budgets, $10,000, whatever. And I made a few of those and it was really great. And but then I realized about three features in that, okay, I am paying too much. I'm trying to replicate. I didn't see it as replication at the time, but now I do, where I was paying too much homage to what's already been made and I was just running into a wall and getting no it felt like an abusive relationship. And you know
Okay.
what I mean? So much money,
Yeah.
so much time, and not enough reward or any of it. And then
Yeah, you had a big award, I know.
well, you just want something. You even and look, I realized too, like what I want the most is to just I want to give what I was given, which is like, even though I'm from a small town in North Carolina, very bored when I went to the movie theater and I watched a good film. And I like the '90s films from America, like the genre films. Like I think there was a lot of great stuff, and I came up on that. I wanted to simply make people feel the way that those movies made me feel, and I could totally forget about whatever I'm going through in Kinston, North Carolina. So when I wasn't getting that, and I was still trying to make movies, I had a conversation with myself and said, "What is going on here?" And at the same time, my hometown called. It's a complete dramatic full circle moment where my hometown has the most basketball player NBA draft picks in the world per capita, but we also have the highest crime rate in the state of North Carolina. And so I said, let me
Mm.
go and make a documentary. Well, let me actually, my hard head was still thinking on fiction, fiction, fiction. Like, oh, I need to make a fiction film. And then I realized it's all already there. Like the people, and I realized
Yeah.
also I want authenticity. I don't want to have, no offense to actors, but I don't want to be at the mercy of performance or, anything that doesn't feel real. That was appealing enough for me to go and make the documentary. And then once I made this documentary, I absolutely fell in love with documentary. And I've been
Yeah, you
making
did.
documentary ever
Mm.
since. And, we got the reward, the whole, PBS has been really lovely. I think PBS, and I'm glad that we actually brought this up because PBS, it's an American broadcast system, but
Yeah.
they still have an honorable thing about them, like where you can see a lot of quality stuff up there, and it's not like it's not really, and it's more regional focused. It's not really taken over yet by, or not yet. It's not really affected or infected by, say, Hollywood or mainstream kind of stuff. So my next film after that, I made a feature doc about this restaurant trying to survive COVID with this wonderful French immigrant, and it just made sense. Like the little restaurant was in front of it was in between KFC and McDonald's, these corporate giants with this little mom and pop in the middle, trying to hang on with all the best food and everybody loves it. And yet they're still on the verge of death when these crappy, conglomerates are just cruising right along. McDonald's getting more and more people through the drive through. Anyways, I realized that like some of the best stories are right in front of you, and some of the best everything is right in front of you at all times. It's all about what do
That's
I
right.
notice? What
Mm.
do I notice? What am I
Mm.
not noticing? What do I not know? Or what am I simply trying too hard to control right now? How do I take a breath and just kind of look for a second? I've been making documentaries, and those first two documentaries we won Emmy for each one of those, which is nice. It's a rewarding thing. I don't do it for Emmys,
That's
but
fantastic. Congratulations. I
it was,
know.
thank you. It was just very
Yeah.
lovely because it also gets, it gets more eyeballs on it once you get that kind of little social stamp of you know what I
Yeah.
mean? The social cachet. Because that's part of this game is like increasing the social cachet and then going from there. But now I've been filming. I'm in post on my latest doc, and it's really fun. I've been filming this private investigator around Los Angeles for 3 years, and it's him and his side. It's him and his protege, and they're trying to solve the murder of the main detective's mentor. Real story,
Oh,
true story. So,
okay.
so
Yeah.
I'm very, very
Oh,
happy,
yeah.
excited about it. That's what I've been doing, and in between, I've just been doing this podcast and raising a 5-year-old. So, yeah,
Yeah. How old are you?
I am 42 years
How
old.
old are you? 32. You could be my child, my
Oh
son.
my goodness. Well, I
Imagine.
think about, I feel like I'm still 22 sometimes. I mean, I feel like an old man, which is, ridiculous, but it took me 20, it took me 30 years to get to Los Angeles, 28 years, 29 years to figure out how to even get
Yeah.
here, and then once I got here, I
Mm.
could, you kind of just get, I don't know, at least for me, you get a better sense of yourself when you're kind of swimming around in the big pool. You kind of really do see what you're
Mm.
capable of. And
Yeah.
it's all about pivoting. And I want to tie this back in with you as far as maybe we have something in common where, it's not, you don't just sit with something if you don't like it. You got to do something about it. You got to maybe do something different, or maybe you do the same thing and you go
Mm.
harder, but you got to do something. You can't give up. And I've seen a lot of people that give up with, more people than
Yeah.
not. It's just not an option. You can't consider that. And the other good thing about when it gets really hard is usually when it's about to get really good. Would you agree with that?
I agree. I agree. I mean, why should we think that we came to a sofa? We are coming here to respond on the world like it is. We
Hmm.
have to use our talent,
But also, why
shouldn't
not?
we?
We have nothing to lose, It's like we're all going to die one day anyways. And not to
No.
be dark about it, but it's like, why not just go for it? It makes no sense not to just
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah. Especially now, we have to be inspired by the world turning so crazy. I mean, not just inspired by that, but
Yeah, yeah.
inspired to continue to do our work.
Does something
And
activate you when things get that way? Because I get activated when I feel pushed, or when I feel injustice, or when I feel like I need to like say something.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't understand why not everybody does that, but that's the truth. They don't. We have to keep going. It's so important. And you're so young. Imagine being so young. Oh,
I'm just trying to get as
that's
much done as I
fantastic.
can. Well, but look at your career too. I mean, you've had a hell of a career, and it's like this film that took 52 years from start to finish. Were you ever frustrated with how long it took? And also, like,
No, I couldn't
no,
think of it, because they said no. And I made other movies in '73 too.
sure,
So I was very active. So
yeah,
I just had to forget it. And it was the National Museum who were contacting me and saying, hello, we found
hmm,
something. It might be your movie. And did you make a movie in German in 1973? Yes, I did, I said. But
hmm.
I was not thinking more about that movie because it was so definitely no. This one we will never give money to.
I mean, this whole filmmaking medium is what 30 years old. So
Yeah,
like your movie took
yeah,
almost a third. It took a third of that length. I mean, it's such a cool thing though
yeah.
to not give up. Your movie is similar to you, and right, and to just being a resilient person. Like where it's like it's done, even though it took 52 years,
Mm.
but now it's done, and now you're premiering it at one of the biggest film festivals in the world, at the perfect place, right where it was filmed. Also, just time in general is so fascinating, especially gaps in time, like 50 years. How much has changed from when you started filming this movie into where you're now premiering it? What would you say has changed for the
Mm.
best since then, in relation to feminism and being a woman?
Well, of course, it has had some things for women. It makes life better. It does. But I mean, the power is not given to us. So we have to take it if you want
Mm,
to change. So we have believed in that human rights were given us. We were having a lot of, things, where the human feelings should come first. But it doesn't. The politics come first. The power is coming first.
mm,
So it eliminates the human side of life. And, to protect the child from war, to protect women from war, we cannot do that. So then
mm,
we lost that game, or we lost that ideal. And that is a big sorrow, I think, to see in this time.
Amazing. But you feel a sense of completion with this movie? I mean, you guys got to feel good to get it out there, right? I mean,
no. I have a producer, and he is much wilder than I am. So now he found that we have to bring with us a photographer to Berlin to make interview with all the women and myself, and we have to make a series. I was the kind of modest. I thought, well, I finally made this film, but he wants to continue. And he is only 53 or 54. So.
Oh, he's in my league. He's in my.
You talk to him,
Yeah. This is Anders, correct?
Anders Tangen, yes. He has lived in LA for 4 years, so he has worked in American movies, and he knows the way to do it.
Amazing.
But anyway, he's not a typical Norwegian.
Okay, nice. I want to talk to him then. I have 2 more questions for you. What are you working on next? Do you have a project in the works?
Well, he made me now continue work on this project. So I have since I write books, I have some scripts inside the Film Institute. So we will see if I can get some money on that. When you call me next time, I'll tell you.
I love it. Let's do it again for sure. I have 1 more question for you. What is the thing that you would go back and tell your early filmmaking self, if anything? Now, what you learned along your journey, is there anything you would go back and tell your early filmmaking self?
The most important, I think, is to have a producer who understands you, who understands what you're doing. Because otherwise you can just write books. Because to build up a production is hard work. And I do respect the other side of that, of making film. So this you're not aware of when you have these dreams and you try to do things, but that's very important. So I have been lucky with that.
Got you. Well, I think you're amazing. I really appreciate the time.
This podcast is brought to you by Valerian Projectors. Head over to Valerian.com to get yours today. That's VALERION.com. Please like and subscribe to this podcast and follow us on social media at Past Present Feature. And let us know in the comments section what movies you're watching. Thank you so much for listening to the Past Present Feature podcast, and we'll see you next time. Peace.